hasn't seen a Disney movie growing up? Disney is synonymous with animated films, childhood, and magic. Disney knows how to cultivate superfans who watch their movies over and over. What if we told you we found 10 paused moments that got by even the biggest fans? Let's check them out. Are you a subscriber yet? Well, you should be. Before we go full Disney, click the red subscribe button so you get all the future videos delivered directly to your inbox.
Whoa.
Hi.
Frozen. In the last decade, one of Disney's biggest box office successes to win over the hearts and minds of international audiences is Frozen. You can't walk down a street or turn on the internet without seeing a reference to the film and its hit song, Let It Go. Let's be real for a second, any child under the age of 10 has probably seen this movie at least 100 times. They know every single one of Olaf and Queen Elsa's words. Who doesn't love a story about a fearless princess who goes on a journey with sidekicks like a snowman and a reindeer? While a lot of the storylines and characters are mystical in nature, there is still a certain amount of realism based off the story. For example, Anna and Hans are dancing in the lighthouse. If you pause on the next scene, you will see a striking difference between the two moments. The film cuts to the silhouette of the two continuing to dance. However, when you pause that next moment, you see their arms are apart and it looks like they're floating instead of in the lighthouse. Neither of these characters can fly, making the paused moment feel out of place within the context of the sequence.
If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all.
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is one of Disney's most cherished animated films. Little girls growing up wanted to put on the yellow dress and dance while Angela Lansbury sings. It is, after all, a tale as old as time. A girl falls in love with a boy. The girl and boy must overcome challenges to be with one another. In the case of Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Belle and Prince Adam must overcome more than the usual couple to be together. It doesn't help that the prince has been turned into a beast and he must fall in love before the last petal falls on the rose, or he's gonna be the beast forever. That doesn't give Prince Adam a lot of time to work with. It's a tough curse. When you do the math on this curse, you realize that Prince Adam turned away the enchantress 10 years before the film started. That makes the prince 11 years old at the time. When the film starts, the beast is almost at the end of year 10, making him around 21 years old. If you pause the scene where Belle is looking at the torn portrait, you see young Adam. Take a few seconds to look real hard. Does Adam look 10 there? No, he doesn't. Is that Adam? Or did animators make him look a little too old?
That'll take me downtown.
He's coming up. Get in the right lane. Take
We don't exit attraction.
You're gonna miss it!
The Incredibles. We know Pixar made the original. Disney owns the property now and making the 2018 sequel. In 2004, the world met the superhero family, the Incredibles. The story follows the undercover hero family of Bob and Helen Parr and their 3 children. Each of them have their own set of unique powers like invisibility, super speed, and super strength. A heartwarming story filled with adventure and humor. The film gained international recognition. The Incredibles even won 2 Academy Awards. Because it was such an enormous success, more than 10 years later, and the film is still going strong. If you didn't get to see the film when it was released into the theaters, you've been able to catch it on DVD or streaming over the years. The film is set in an alternative timeline than the real world. The flashbacks in the film are set in the 1960s, the golden age of superheroes in the film. Mr. Incredible loved being a superhero and saving lives, and found it hard to give up the costume life. In the film, you can see in his office all the newspaper clippings on the wall. When you pause during this sequence, you will notice that one of the clippings has the date 2002, which, when you realize you're in a flashback, is impossible because it's 40 years earlier.
Tarzan? Oh, I see.
Tarzan. Tarzan is one of the oldest and widely known stories of our time. In 1999, Disney turned the story into an original animated film, also called Tarzan. At the time of its release, it was the first film to depict the legend of Tarzan through animation. Did you know this was also Disney's 37th animated film, and it took 4 years to make? The film had 2 animation teams and a large task to undertake. Not only were they animating Tarzan, but also had to depict all of the animals in the jungle. That is not to mention all of these special effects and motion of Tarzan having to swing through all the trees. There were a lot of animators having to do a lot of work to get it all down on paper. Granted, the artists on Tarzan also had a lot of one other thing to draw every day: muscles. Tarzan only wore a loincloth in the movie, so they had to draw his face and body a lot. In one scene, as Tarzan is in the jungle, when you pause it, his cheeks are all puffed out, like he's holding his breath. It's a very funny picture because he looks like he either got his wisdom teeth out or stuffing his cheeks like a chipmunk. Cinderella. In 1950, Disney released one of its very first animated princess films, Cinderella. While Cinderella didn't exactly start off as a princess, we know that her transformation into one helped pave the way for all the future princesses to come, like Jasmine, Tiana, and Ariel. This film gave us one of the most iconic elements in film history, and that made its way into everyday popular culture. Who doesn't know about Cinderella's glass slipper or use the phrase, turn into a pumpkin at midnight? Didn't you wish you had a fairy godmother like Cinderella? We know we do. In Cinderella, Disney started to build the foundation of its cinematic themes that would be used in many of its future animated films. You have a princess. She has something happen to her, usually because of evil henchmen. There's a prince involved. He figures out what happens and helps defeat the evil. Let's not forget about the most important part. The princess usually has an adorable sidekick, usually an animal, who helps her along the way. In Cinderella, she had a flock of birds and other animals help her with chores around the house. If you pause the film when Cinderella is getting up in the morning, it looks like her helpful flock of birds are flying out of her mouth. Peter Pan. In 1953, Disney turned J.M. Barrie's play into an animated film. Disney's Peter Pan had given us so much over the years. We got Tinkerbell and Wendy, Captain Hook and the Lost Boys, and even got the crocodile and fairy dust to help us fly. Did you know that Peter Pan was one of Walt Disney's favorite stories of all time? He really wanted to see it turned into a film and got his wish. We're so glad he pushed to have it turned into a film. Now we can watch it at home when no one can stop us from pausing it. However, when you have the power of the pause, you sometimes find things you did not expect at all. In Peter Pan, there's one such moment when you need to take a double take and ask yourself, am I really seeing this? There is one scene in the film where Peter is dancing in the bedroom with his shadow. There are several moments where we see Peter in full color, jumping and smiling and having fun. When the shot cuts to his shadow against the wall, pause it. The animators seem to have misplaced the toy sword, turning Peter from a boy into a man. Need we say more? How about you go have a look for yourself?
Come on, push this.
Oh, I don't want to go to school.
Finding Nemo. We know what you might be saying. Hey, Disney and Pixar Studios are two different companies. Well, we are counting this on our list because the Walt Disney Company bought Pixar Studios in 2006. Even though Finding Nemo was released in 2003, the film is now considered to be part of Disney's property. In 2003, audiences received one of the most popular fish-related films in film history next to Jaws. They released Finding Nemo and audiences immediately fell in love. Thousands of families immediately ran out to the pet store to try and get their own clownfish. What did you name your clownfish? Animated films are notorious for being littered with Easter eggs. It is easy for an animator to be able to slip something into the background, make it blend in with the surroundings, and see if anyone catches it. Thanks to DVDs and the internet, we have plenty of time on our hands to pause each frame and scour it for buried treasure. In Finding Nemo, there are several moments where you should pause because the frame is filled with more than just action. One place has two of these moments, the dentist's office. Pause and you can see a Buzz Lightyear figurine on the ground. Pause again and the boy is reading a Mr. Incredible comic book. Lilo and Stitch. In 2002, Disney released Lilo and Stitch. It was Disney's first foray into the world of science fiction. Main character and overall awesome girl Lilo Pelikai met an extraterrestrial creature in the form of Stitch. Lilo lost her parents and older sister in a car crash, so she doesn't have anyone left. The two bond with one another and make a family of their own. Lilo is a very strong female character who serves as a role model for all girls in the world. It was even nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film. It didn't win, but isn't it nice just to be nominated? Thank goodness for the pause button, because you would have missed this moment if you saw it in theaters. When Lilo and Stitch enter Nanny's room, press pause. Lean in and look real hard in the background and you'll find a poster of Mulan. We believe the shout out in Lilo and Stitch comes from the fact that co-writer and co-director Dean DeBlois is also the co-writer of Disney's Mulan. It is a really nice way to bring together the two films, both of which provide positive female role models for young audiences around the world.
No, get off.
Tarzan. Tarzan is making a second appearance on our list because it has so many moments to pause and scrutinize. Another fun fact for you about Tarzan, at the time it was also Disney's most expensive animated film and it held that ranking until 2002. Could it have something to do with the Beauty and the Beast Easter egg hidden in the film? Probably not, but it's fun to wish upon a star, no? During the film, there's a scene where the tables are all set up and the fancy china is all laid out. Pause and take a closer look. We'll wait while you do. Do you see it? The china is Mrs. Potts and the gang from Beauty and the Beast. This moment raises more questions than it provides answers. After all, how did Mrs. Potts and the rest of the tea set get to the jungle? Who shipped these items there and why? Did Belle or Prince Adam go to the post office and mail them to the jungle? Also, when could this have happened? At the end of Beauty and the Beast, Mrs. Potts and Chip and everyone get turned back into human form. So how did they end up there in their China form? We demand some answers, Disney. Do you hear us? Answers!
What?
Do you trust me?
Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin was released in 1992 and became an instant classic. Who doesn't love Robin Williams as the lovable genie? You can't get through that movie without laughing and smiling. You also can't get through that movie without having to pause it like 1.5 million times. There's so much going on in any one scene that it can be easily overlooked. Thank goodness for streaming these days, huh? Back in the day, we'd wear out the VHS tape from pausing and rewinding so much. The reason to pause and stare at the screen so much has to do with all of Aladdin's hidden references. There's just too many to count. Don't you worry, we've rounded up some of our favorites for you to go find. In the beginning of Aladdin, there are 2 back-to-back references to 2 other Disney films, Pinocchio and The Little Mermaid. The genie's head turns into Pinocchio for a second as he pulls Crab Sebastian out of the cookbook. There's also references to the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, Shere Khan from the Jungle Book, and the crocodile from Peter Pan. Can you spot them in Jasmine's menagerie when you pause it? What else can you spot?
In case of emergency, the exits are here. Anywhere. Keep your hands and arms inside the carpet.
If you weren't convinced already that Disney makes magical moments, we hope this video convinces you. What's your favorite paused movie moment? Did we miss any? Thank you for watching, and before you watch the next CBR video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up to show your love, and subscribe if you haven't already to catch even more entertaining videos from CBR's playlist.